Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? I totally thought Mimi was going to fucking... I thought that was his arm, bro. I didn't teach her that one. She learned that shit on her own. Ooh, Lord, she got that Eren Yeager regeneration now. The power of lesbianism in the palm of your hand. Let me just say, walking out of episode 1, I thought this could be a solid show, but I was not expecting to walk out, especially by episode 2, saying it might be a top 5 of this anime season for me. Do me a solid, though. Make sure you leave a like on this video, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already, and Patreon's where you're going to catch my full live reactions to all these episodes and more. We covered episode 1 over there last week. With episode 2, you knew I had to get up here and at least give a first impressions. If I see enough demand, we can do this one weekly on YouTube, or at least weekly-ish. Love You Till Your Dying Day is a very interesting Yuri anime. The poster, and honestly what I saw promotional-wise, did not make it seem like it was going to be so well-produced, or, to be honest, as magically impressive with the animation. Like, we have young killers in training doing the most heinous war crimes, and watching characters lose their limbs, and then having to, you know, kiss. Bless anime. The way they transfer mana and recharge, or in this case, regain body parts, is through the sweet art of tongue wrestling. Love to see it. This show did 2 very interesting things with both episodes. The first episode is a solid introduction to show you the vibe, because a title like I Want to Love You Till Your Dying Day, that's a heartbreaking title, right? So therefore, when you have a girl like Sheena, who is clearly not very good at the schoolwork of becoming a trained killer, and then you have this girl, Mimi, who apparently is this local legend that you send on the battlefield when you want an entire army to die. You can very much, a blind man, see that they're gonna probably build some sort of relationship, and most likely, a trained killer will gain even more humanity being around her. She'll probably gain more strength being around Mimi, but at the end of the day, my initial fear of leaving the first episode was the more time they spend together and the more normal Mimi becomes and not this psychopathic monster. I mean, our introduction to her is she wanted to eat her lunch drenched in her enemy's blood. Like, that's not a normal fucking response. My thought was, we're going to build this show into seeing Mimi become more human, and eventually that will be her death. By making her more human and more normal, she will be a less effective tool on the battlefield, and thus we will have a heartbreaking end to the story. I still think we will have a heartbreaking end, but I think there's going to be more layers to it than I first thought. Knowing that they can reattach limbs, which was the initial hope, did you find her arm? It seems like that's also a way to do it, so you don't have to regrow an entire arm. And as they also say, that it's more dangerous, because when Mimi decides to give her the old smooch of life, the nurse is basically like, hey, if you're not careful, you'll lose your arm too. So it seems like the mana transferring is very interesting in this show, because if you have a limb, I assume you can attach it here, like you just hold it, you do the old tongue wrestling, and then the mana reattaches it. It's less dangerous. But if you're trying to regrow an entire body part, if you're not careful, you yourself will do some Full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange, and you'll lose your arm. I mean, in theory, even if someone did, then the next person can smooch with it. It's a whole lot of tongue wrestling is what I'm saying. But the thing about it is knowing that even in test matches, someone like Sheena could die. I mean, this episode confirms that Mimi is the type of character who, the reason why she knows what it's like to lose body parts is she's lost many, because she just runs in. So they have to patch her up. If you don't see the potential of not dying because, like, maybe she becomes too human, but rather she dies because she sacrifices herself for Sheena because, you know, she doesn't want to see her lose her head, I think you're blind, because they definitely are setting in motion one of these two dying and the other having the crash out arc of a century. The thing about this show is I've seen so many shows, and it's less common these days, but could you imagine if the first story arc is watching Mimi and Sheena, you know, grow a very close bond? Mimi ends up sacrificing herself for Sheena, and then Sheena becomes like the next Mimi. Like, the second story arc is she becomes the local legend after losing, you know, her girl. I see some potential for some very depressing subject matter. And to be honest, I think the dynamic between the two, they've made it pretty rootable. A lot more wholesome outside of these scenes than you would expect. And just the way, like, she has no idea of, like, what normal is. But anytime when it comes to her specifically, oh, you need me to take care of her, piggyback ride. The way they blend peak depression to this wholesome slice of life romance is actually quite impressive. The big thing is, of course, the animation and how well produced it is. I mean, when you hear like mock battle, I'm not expecting too much, but like even just seeing what they're fighting. Like, our girl was out here annihilating them easy. Like, it was kind of like if you're playing a video game and you fight a slime and you just, like, one-tap it. Like, that's what Mimi was doing the whole time. She was a fucking machine, and she was launching hyper beams and all sorts of insane nonsense. And then you have the other students barely able to kill one. Like, these two, who seemingly are going to be, like, or, like, main friendships. I mean, in this case, I feel like she specifically has, like, this hostility towards Mimi. I think it's, like, honestly jealousy and, like, not wanting to be left behind. It took two of them to barely kill one. The power and balance of these girls are insane because Mimi is in a completely different league of her own. Yet she feels so normal in those slice of life scenes, and it's a very interesting contrast. I feel like similar to a show like A Live Lady's Guide to Getting Even, which airs on Mondays. This airs, of course, on Tuesdays. Both of those shows, the first episodes is a really good introduction, but it's the second episode that really shows you where they want to go with the story long term, and that's what makes it a worthwhile experience. And you can say, okay, it's not just here to be a shallow Yuri, it's not just here to be a shallow murder fest. Like, I feel like I understand a lot more. There's a lot more depth. They, of course, flexed the animation, which was great. I think this show has a lot of different things to offer for so many different people, and I hope people pay attention to it. I definitely think this is a top 5 of the season. I don't think it's going to be my overall anime of the season when it's all said and done, but I will not be surprised in the slightest if this remains to be a top 5, maybe even a top 3 for me when it's all said and done, if episode 2 is a very good indication of the quality and type of subject matter that they're going to explore. Of course, these types of shows will not be for everyone, but I mean, if people simply write the show off because of some superficial, shallow reason, like, I mean, you're missing out, right? You know how many anime I watch that I can't relate to, or I don't share certain opinions with the characters, or it's not like a wish fulfillment? Like, I just want to see a good story in whatever form that is. And I think a lot of people are a little too shallow these days, where they're like, it's Yuri, I don't want to watch it. Like, it says a lot about you if I'm being 100% real. Like, if you like that, you're going to miss out on stuff like Banana Fish, which is a fantastic watch, right? At the end of the day, if we only watch anime that we can personally relate to that fit 100% our own beliefs and ideals, we are going to miss out on most of the good anime. But hey, maybe that explains why, motherfuckers only play FIFA, video games, and that's why they won't try other video games, because they just want to live out their soccer fancy. I don't fucking know. Either way, I think this is a great watch. No idea if it will be a consistent one on YouTube. You can let me know if there is any demand, but either way, Patreon, full live reactions over there. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so I know if there is that support. And hey, if you do head on over to my Patreon, I'll give you a video shout out too, because my patrons are what make these YouTube videos possible. So today we got Austral Prime, Nicholas Geischer, Eric Cheeks Robinson, Gaius, and we also have Shareable Cockris. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You all have a good one.